Today we have the Behringer RD-8, which we will compare with its ancestor, the TR-808. So let's find out how they sound. So I'm sure that by now you have found all the actual sounds of the RD-8 in detail. We will just quickly go over the specification. It's exactly the same sound kit as the 808 has, with bass drum, snare drum, low, mid and high tom, rim shot, hand clap, cowbell, cymbal and open and closed hi-hat. There are some differences. There is a tuning on the bass drum, there is an offset on the hand clap to make it shorter or longer than the original, and there are tone controls on the cymbal, open hi-hat and closed hi-hat. For the rest, it's basically the same sound as Behringer intended it, at least. But today we want to show you what we were curious about, namely whether there are differences between old 808s and the RD-8. So we programmed the same pattern in all three machines, and we'll let you listen to the RD-8 first, and then we move over to this 808, and then we move over to this 808. So let's start the machine. So I can play around a bit with the kick or the snare, but I'll leave the tunings intact because we try to make them sound at the same pitch as in all three machines. So let's move to this 808. Slightly different sound levels for all the sounds because they all have their own volume controls, and it is different on all machines, especially when we move over to this one, as you will hear. This one sounds a bit more mushy, probably because some of the capacitors in this one have had their best time of life, so might need to be replaced. There's some noises in the snare and in the toms. So let's move back to this one. And finally we go back to the RD-8. So if we look at these two, they have the most similarities, and I think both machines sound nice. The RD-8 being completely new and made with modern techniques does actually a very good job of emulating the 808 sounds, but it can do a lot more, of course. It has a wave designer and an analog filter, and I can quickly show you what these do with the sounds. You can add all the sounds separately to the wave designer. So for instance, I'll select the bass, the snare and the toms. They now go into the wave designer, and the rest of the sounds they pass it. Now let's check it out. As you can hear, the sustain increases quite a lot when you put that up, and there's some minor differences in the attack of the sounds, especially if you make the sustain short, and the sound becomes a little bit more snappier. After the wave designer, the sounds go through the filter, which I can switch on, of course, and then when we turn it down, you can only hear the sounds that were not included in the send button here. There's also a resonance on the filter, which gives a nice effect, maybe possibly especially when you're playing live. And there's also a high pass filter, again with resonance. Okay, let's go back to where we were. So, what do we think of the RD-8? Obviously there are many bigger reviews to find, but we just wanted to show you what our impression is when you compare it to the two originals that we are so lucky to have here. And I think you get a very nice drum machine with lots of programming options, and it sounds really great. You also have separate outputs, and it's a lot of fun to work with, and it's very affordable with a decent build quality. So good job for Behringer, and I hope it will inspire many musicians to make great drum tracks. Thank you for watching. Did you like this video? Then don't forget to give us a thumbs up and we'll see you next time.